in the headlines of this hour on VTV News. Vietnam and Singapore enhance cooperation for seaport development. And Vietnam balances high growth targets with inflation control. In our world news, U.S. tariff war escalates as trade partners promise countermeasures.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello, it's 3 p.m. local time and you're watching VTV News. I'm Huyền Trân with the top stories. Continuing his official visit to Singapore on Thursday morning, Party General Secretary Tô Lâm visited Pasir Panjang Seaport. He spoke highly of Singapore's use of world-leading technology in seaport planning, development, and logistics operations. The party chief expressed hope that Singaporean partners would share their expertise and promote cooperation with Vietnam in key areas. The development of large technologically advanced port clusters will help Vietnam reduce its transit dependence, establish direct international shipping routes, and boost its international market competitiveness. According to the 2021 to 2030 planning period, with a vision toward 2050, Vietnam's seaport system aims to handle up to 1,494 million tons of goods. The required investment exceeds $13 billion.
Build a better and more sustainable world. The world's smaller.
At the fourth meeting of the Socio-Economic Subcommittee of the 14th National Party Congress, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính, head of the subcommittee, outlined 5 key factors for addressing domestic and international challenges. First, all goals and actions must be based on practical situations. Second, the nation must further promote its self-reliance, autonomy, and spirit. And third, there must be enhanced feasibility and efficiency. Fourth, there should be proactive planning to overcome limitations. Fifth, bodies must maintain a thorough and close coordination to implement Party General Secretary Tô Lâm directives. Additionally, the implementation of 3 strategic breakthroughs must prioritize power delegation, streamline administrative procedures, and the attraction and retention of human resources, especially in technology and innovation sectors. Vietnam's economy is projected to grow at a strong pace, once again ranking among the fastest growing economies in Southeast Asia. And this assessment was highlighted in the latest World Bank's Economic Update report for Vietnam, unveiled during a press conference held on Wednesday in Hanoi. The report underscores Vietnam's potential for sustained growth, driven by robust trade, investment, and a recovering domestic market.
The World Bank has raised Vietnam's 2025 GDP growth forecast by 0.2% to 6.8%, with robust growth expected through 2026. Foreign investment and trade will continue to be key drivers, while domestic economic activity will benefit from a recovering real estate market.
Our forecast is that GDP growth in Vietnam will reach 6.8% in 2025 and 6.5% in 2026. So as I was saying, this reflects a slower export growth and slower external demand that will be partially offset by a recovery in private consumption that has started at the end of 2024 and should continue as real estate markets continues to recover.
However, global economic uncertainties and potential trade disruptions pose risks. World Bank experts recommend policies that adapt to shifting global trade dynamics and boost domestic consumption for balanced growth. Priorities should include increasing public investment, strengthening financial sector stability, enhancing energy resilience, and implementing structural reforms.
Vietnam has set an ambitious growth target of 8% for 2025 as part of its long-term goal of becoming a high-income country by 2045. And achieving this target will inevitably lead to higher inflation compared to 2024. Therefore, maintaining a balance between inflation control and economic expansion requires flexible policy management to sustain high growth without triggering adverse inflationary effects.
The National Assembly has adjusted the inflation target to 4.5 to 5% of GDP in 2025, an increase of approximately 0.5 percentage points from previous levels. However, experts remain optimistic, with the World Bank projecting inflation at just 3.5% for 2025 through 2026. Analysts suggest that increasing public investment and credit growth is unlikely to exert immediate inflationary pressures.
If capital is allocated efficiently to productive sectors and credit growth translates into a proportional increase in GDP, it will not necessarily lead to inflation. With credit growth targeted at 16% and public investment directed toward high-impact areas, inflationary pressures are expected to remain manageable.
The focus should be on policies to increase public investment, not just the level, but also the quality of public investment towards productive use, to close the infrastructure gap, so increase transport infrastructure, the distribution of capacity of electricity, and improving connectivity overall.
In 2025, several factors are expected to support Vietnam's efforts to curb inflation. Ongoing tax support policies will help lower the costs of goods and services, easing inflationary pressures. Notably, recent policies measures have strengthened business and consumer confidence.
One particularly positive measure we have observed is the Politburo's decision to exempt tuition fees for students from kindergarten to high school. According to initial estimates from various sources, this policy could help reduce inflation by approximately 0.8% to 1%.
In recent years, the Vietnamese dong has maintained a stable exchange rate. To effectively control inflation, macromonetary policies must be carefully regulated. It is not simply a matter of low inflation being good or high inflation being bad. Rather, inflation must be evaluated in the context of global trade dynamics to assess its overall impact.
Achieving 8% GDP growth while keeping inflation below 5% is an ambitious goal, but it is attainable with the right policies. The key lies in maintaining a balance between economic expansion and macroeconomic stability. Effective inflation control, improved credit quality, efficient capital utilization, and boosted consumer spending will be essential for Vietnam to sustain both growth and economic stability in 2025.
Artificial intelligence, or AI, and semiconductors have emerged as the twin pillars of today's digital economy. Their integration and Vietnam's opportunities in these fields are key topics at the International Conference on Artificial Intelligence and Semiconductors, AISC 2025. And according to experts, Vietnam's stable political climate, strategic position in the global supply chain, and young workforce give it a significant advantages that could help position the country as a future global hub for AI and semiconductor innovation.
Vietnam's artificial intelligence market is projected to reach $800 million USD this year. AI applications are expanding across sectors. In the finance and banking industry, AI has enabled a digital financial ecosystem that processes hundreds of millions of transactions yearly with minimal workforce requirements.
By leveraging AI's analytics capabilities, we can gain a comprehensive understanding of customers and predict their needs. This enables the design of tailored products to deliver services to customers in the fastest, most effective, and safest way possible.
According to experts, integrating AI into chip design and manufacturing is becoming a new trend that is attracting massive investments and transforming the semiconductor industry. Beyond improving efficiency, this development creates fresh opportunities for rising technology hubs.
And edge AI, in terms of IC design, there's no clear leader in the world yet, right? And so picking that, I think Vietnam could, if focused in a focused manner with some partners around the region, like MediaTek, for example, who is also here today.
We will collaborate with technology companies to establish AI and semiconductor R&D centers in Vietnam enabling local enterprises to gain access to the core technologies of these industries. Secondly, we will focus on developing support programs to help Vietnamese businesses integrate into the value chain of the semiconductor and artificial intelligence industries.
Vietnam faces a golden opportunity to make breakthroughs in artificial intelligence and semiconductors. To seize this opportunity, the country must actively participate in the global ecosystem, building a foundation for deeper integration into the high-tech value chain.
Now, for the first time, Vietnam's coffee exports exceeded $1 billion in a single month. And this record was set in February, when exports reached over 193,000 tons, generating revenue of $1.08 billion. According to the Vietnam Coffee and Cocoa Association, total export volume in the first 2 months of the year reached 284,000 tons. This amounts to $1.58 billion, down 28% in volume, but up 26% in value compared to the same period last year. The export price of Vietnamese coffee rose by more than 76% over the same period, reaching an average of $5,575 per ton. And despite these price hikes, the coffee supply chain remains resilient, with farmers earning nearly $4 per kilogram. And as the specialty coffee movement has grown in recent years, Vietnamese roasters have refined their expertise to keep up with the global trends and elevate the quality of their coffee. The ongoing Vietnam Specialty Coffee Roasting Competition at the Buôn Ma Thuột Coffee Festival provides a platform for professionals to strengthen the Vietnamese coffee value chain while developing a world-class team of roasters.
Specialty coffee is seen as a promising new direction for the coffee industry, aiming to enhance the brand value of local coffee. With strict production and processing standards, it can yield up to 5 times the profitability of regular coffee.
Specialty coffee is different from regular coffee in that it offers a rich and diverse flavor profile. This requires roasters to master the operation of roasting machines and understand coffee beans and roasting techniques to fully unlock the coffee's unique flavors.
Customers are interested in the origin of their coffee, especially specialty coffee. This interest means that as major importers source from Vietnam, specialty coffee products will significantly strengthen the national coffee brand.
Vietnam's specialty coffee varieties now meet global consumer demands thanks to their high quality and health safety standards. The 2025 Vietnam Coffee Roasting Competition marks an important milestone for coffee industry professionals, demonstrating that Vietnam excels not only in specialty coffee production, but also in the skillful preparation and appreciation of these premium products.
We celebrate not only the innovation of the contestants, but also the creativity of the entire coffee industry. This helps consumers understand the true value of specialty coffee. More importantly, through this competition, we continue to realize the goal of making a global coffee hub.
The growth of specialty coffee in Vietnam represents a natural evolution that opens new market opportunities, diversifies products, and enhances the overall quality of Vietnamese coffee.
And before moving on to some other news, let's take a look at the foreign exchange rate of today, March 13th. Coming up next on VTV News. Vietnam proactively contributes to gender equality. And Phú Quốc named among Asia's top 10 most beautiful islands. Recently in New York, Vice Chairwoman of the National Assembly Phie attended the 69th session of the United Nations Economic and Social Council's Commission on the Status of Women. The session reviewed the outcomes of the implementation of the 1995 Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action on Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment over the past 30 years. During the discussion, Vice Chairwoman Phie highlighted Vietnam's achievements. Vietnamese women now comprise nearly one-third of National Assembly deputies, almost 40% of the STEM workforce, and own 26.5% of all enterprises. Women also make up 68.5% of the country's labor force, significantly higher than the global average of 48.7%. She also reaffirmed Vietnam's commitment to actively contributing to global gender equality efforts. 50 years after liberation, Tây Nguyên has transformed from a fierce battlefield into a prosperous land. Wild asphalt highways have replaced what were once muddy, dusty roads, and the remarkable progress of this area is clearly visible in its road network, showcasing its immense potential.
Improving transportation under the new Rural Development Program presented major challenges for the Central Highlands provinces. However, today, many communes are close to meeting this crucial goal, powered by both government funding and generous contributions from local residents.
We strongly support donating land and trees for road construction. This greatly facilitates the transportation of goods and agricultural products.
Despite the high land value, every household here contributed a portion of their land to build the roads.
The Central Highlands transportation network extends nearly 40,000 kilometers, with more than half of its roads now paved. Since the launch of the new Rural Development Program, remote areas have seen dramatic improvements in infrastructure.
Infrastructure has now been significantly improved, including electricity, roads, schools, and medical facilities. People's living standards are much higher.
In the near future, major expressways will connect the Central Highland with coastal provinces and the southern region, paving the way for sustainable development across this vast area.
New social housing projects in the Mekong Delta are turning the dream of home ownership into a reality for many low-income earners. With strong investment and policy support from government agencies and local authorities, not only has housing supply improved, but favorable policies are also making it easier for low-income individuals to purchase homes.
For a monthly payment of around $240 USD, this home buyer can purchase this social housing unit. Thanks to a government-backed initiative, he, along with many other low-income earners, now has a realistic path to homeownership.
I moved from Haojiang and have always wished for a home to settle down in and build a future. Thanks to state policies and support from the developer, I now have a home. I'm truly grateful.
In the Mekong Delta, 38 social housing projects have already been completed, delivering over 10,000 housing units. Local authorities are now investing in an additional 54 projects that will create 35,000 more homes, spanning a total floor area of more than 11 million square meters.
We plan to develop 1,200 social housing units by 2025, working closely with investors to ensure proper housing for workers.
Following government directives, financial institutions are now offering loans to help young buyers purchase social housing units. Thanks to increased supply and expanded policy incentives, millions of low-income residents in the Mekong Delta will soon have a permanent place to call home.
Phu Quoc has earned a spot among Asia's top 10 most beautiful islands. Destination, one of Asia's leading travel publications, recently announced the winners of its prestigious 18th Reader's Choice Awards. This annual award celebrates the finest destinations, hotels, airlines, and travel services across the region, based on votes from thousands of travelers worldwide. Phu Quoc ranked 5th following Bali, Indonesia, Maldives, Boracay of the Philippines, and Phuket, Thailand. The list also includes Palawan, Philippines, Koh Samui of Thailand, Langkawi, Penang, Malaysia, and Lombok, Indonesia. In the southern region of Vietnam, people instantly recognize the iconic khăn rằn, a traditional checkered scarf worn by women. And this versatile garment shields the head from the sun and when draped over the shoulder, absorbs sweat. The scarf has evolved into a popular fashion accessory among young people and has been creatively transformed into various products that embody the Vietnamese spirit.
Traditionally, the khăn rằn checked scarves came only in black and white. In Long Khánh A village, local artisans now blend various colors to create vibrant, multicolored scarves. This innovation better meets modern customer preference and demands.
Our products are made from environmentally friendly materials. They are harder to make but feel better to wear.
The improved materials have enhanced both the durability and the appeal of these scarves. The khăn rằn now features a fresh, modern look that is stylish, vibrant, and youthful.
The scarf's color combinations are designed to match the 4 seasons. For instance, during spring, vibrant colors capture the season's lively spirit.
Today, young people have embraced outfits creatively designed from the khăn rằn, breathing new life into this traditional scarf. This renaissance has helped the craft village thrive while maintaining its connection to the southern region's rich history and culture.
Coming up next in our world news. U.S. tariff war escalates as trade partners promise countermeasures. And Russian president visits Kursk. Now moving on to our world news, a trade tariff war is intensifying as U.S. President Donald Trump threatens new tariffs, prompting major U.S. trading partners to pledge countermeasures.
Canada, the largest exporter of aluminum and steel to the U.S., has officially responded to the Trump administration's 25% tariff on imported steel and aluminum. Starting March 13, Ottawa will impose tariffs on approximately $20.6 million worth of U.S. imports, targeting steel, aluminum, carburetors, and sporting equipment. Meanwhile, Japan had expressed regret over the latest U.S. steel and aluminum tariffs, which do not exempt Japan, warning that the move could significantly impact Japan-U.S. economic relations. The UK is actively negotiating a broader economic agreement with the US to eliminate additional tariffs. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz also stated that the EU would respond swiftly to the new US tariffs.
If tariffs are now imposed in their place, this will do the most damage to the American economy. But it will also harm many others. We must use our strength and therefore respond strongly and appropriately, but always with the prospect of reaching an understanding that avoids tariffs and promotes trade and economic exchange.
U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened to accelerate trade tensions by imposing additional measures in response to the EU's warning retaliatory tariffs, approximately $28 billion worth of U.S. goods, set to take effect next month following U.S. steel and aluminum tariffs.
And as you know, we're going to be doing reciprocal tariffs, so whatever they charge us, we're charging them.
According to U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, the president may include copper among the trade protection measures for the world's largest economy.
And amid escalating tariff tensions among its members, the Group of 7 or G7 foreign ministers will convene on Thursday in Quebec, Canada. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has arrived in Canada to attend the G7 meeting alongside its counterparts from the UK, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and the host nation. Trade tensions and efforts to end the conflict in Ukraine will be the key topics of the 3-day summit. The U.S. Secretary of State stated that the international community is awaiting Russia's response after Ukraine accepted the ceasefire proposal put forward by the U.S. President Donald Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, is set to travel to Moscow this week to negotiate the ceasefire. Russian President Vladimir Putin visited the western province of Kursk on Wednesday, marking his first visit to the region since Ukrainian forces took control of several areas. And during the trip, he inspected a Russian military command center. Russian Chief of General Staff Valery Gerasimov stated that Ukrainian forces in Kursk have been surrounded. President Putin stressed that Russian forces must regain complete control of the region as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Ukrainian Commander-in-Chief Oleksandr Syrsky left open the possibility of withdrawing some forces from Kursk on Wednesday. Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei has publicly rejected U.S. President Donald Trump's invitation for nuclear negotiations. Khamenei's skepticism comes from Trump's withdrawal from the 2015 nuclear agreement between Iran and world powers. While refusing talks with the U.S., Khamenei also stated that Iran would not develop nuclear weapons. And as usual, let's move on to the weather forecast. And that's all the news we have for this hour. To rewatch our program, you can download our mobile app VTVgo or check out our YouTube channel VTV4Go. Thank you for watching and see you next time.